Welcome to Winchester, Tennessee for the fourth round of the 1989 World Observed Trials Championship Series. This was the first time that the Southeastern Trials Riders Association ever put on a world-class event, and it was an excellent one. Trials Masters Nelson Crouch and Parker Lowndes, along with the help of their club members, set up 18 sections that challenged the skills of the top riders in the world. This Memorial Day weekend was a Trials rider's dream. On Saturday, round 3 of the U.S. Nationals was held. On Sunday, a National Vintage Trials motorcycle and National Bicycle Trials were held. And then on Monday, everyone could watch the world riders perform their amazing acts of balance and traction. A lot of planning and preparation by the Trials Masters and work from the club went into this weekend, as separate sections and loops were set up each day for the category of bike and rider. Most of the riders arrived here Wednesday and Thursday, quickly assembled their bikes, and were off to practice on the big rocks that are in ample supply here on Carter Mountain. This wooded area of land suddenly rises about 800 feet above the rolling terrain and the city of Winchester, which is located about 8 miles to the northwest. Up here, it's mostly trees and rocks, or in other words, a Trials rider's paradise. Nice warm, humid, and sunny weather was enjoyed most of the week, and also on the event weekend. Friday night, however, a moderate rain passed over the area, making the sections for the national riders on Saturday a bit on the slippery and muddy side. Back in March, when we covered the first world round in England, we mentioned the rumor we heard of a water-cooled Beta about to be brought out by the factory. It turned out to be a fact, as Beta's top rider, Jordy Terrace, the 1987 world champ, debuted the new bike at the Scottish 6 Day in May. Problems with the cooling system caused him to DNF, but these were quickly fixed, and he won his first world round in Italy several weeks ago on this bike. Upside-down forks and an aluminum frame are the other two big changes on this bike. It's also 6 pounds lighter than the current air-cooled one. Plans are to have this prototype in production by the fall, with deliveries to start in late December. Jordy used to be the European Bicycle Trials champ, and he still rides a few local events and keeps his balance skills sharp by training on this bike several times a week. As you can see here, he still rides pretty good. He says bicycle riding is an excellent way to keep the legs, back, and arms in shape. Let's take a look at Hans Ray, one of the top-ranked bicycle trials riders from Switzerland, in one of Sunday's sections. As we watch, I'll also bring you up to date on the results of the first 3 world rounds and the standings up to this event. England, which was held on March 19th, was won by Steve Saunders. 2nd, Bozes. 3rd, Berlatier. 4th, Michaud. 5th, Miglio. 6th, Terrace. 7th, Avila. 8th, Chiaberto. 9th, Peter John. And 10th, Eddie Lejeune. Round 2, which was held in Ireland on March 25th, was won by Michaud. 2nd, Saunders. 3rd, Bozes. 4th, Terrace. 5th, Miglio. 6th, John. 7th, Codina. 8th, Couturier. 9th, Tommy Avila. And 10th, Renato Chiaberto. Round 3, held in Italy on May 14th, was won by Jordy Terrace. 2nd, Thierry Michaud. 3rd, Diego Bozes. 4th, Donato Miglio. 5th, Steve Saunders. 6th, Philippe Berlatier. 7th, Eddie Lejeune. 8th, Peter John. 9th, Pascal Couturier. And 10th, Thierry Girard. World standings up to this point now: Thierry Michaud leading with 50 points, Steve Saunders 48, Bozes 47, Jordi Terrace, 43. Miglio with 35. Berlatier with 30. Peter John with 25. Eddie Lejeune with 21. Tommy Avila, 20. And Renato Chiaberto with 19. We shot a lot of video of the riders practicing in the 4 days prior to the event. We also did some interviews with a few of the top riders. We asked the current world champ Thierry Michaud if he was going to do anything different this year and also what the competition was going to be like.
No, I don't think so anyway. I think this year will be the other riders are always the same. I think we have five riders riding very well with Jordi Terrace, Donato Miglio, Diego Bozzi, Steve Sanders and me. And I am still riding for Fantic. I have more or less the same bike of last year. The only difference is last year it was a prototype and now it seems to be a standard bike, and I'm very happy about my bike. I think I ride in a good condition. And last year I started very well my season, and Jordi Terrace started not very bad, but bad I think for him, and I take many points in front. And this year I think is different because Jordi Terrace has already won one Grand Prix in Italy. And I think it will be very, very difficult for me because I'm still more old every year, of course, and they are riding, the young rider, they are running very well, and Jordi Terrace wants to win again the title, and it will be still more and more difficult for me.
How do you feel about stadium trials events? You missed some last year because of the broken thumb. Do you like riding stadium trials?
Yes, me I think is interesting. Many people think that it's interesting for the rider only for the money. Me, I don't think that like that because for many other reasons. First reason, I think it will be more and more popular, the stadium trial, and it's good for the rider and also for the factory to win, because we make this stadium trial in the big cities. There is always a television, and for the publicity for the public is better. Yes. They see, perhaps sometimes they appreciate, it's more easy to appreciate the technique of the riders in the stadium trial. And also now the stadium trial is becoming very, very technical. Yes. And also if we don't have a problem of grip, to find the grip, because there is always a good grip. Yes. But very technical, and I think it's a good practice also for the World Championship, because now outside trial are almost similar of stadium trials. Then practicing a lot in making stadium trial in winter, and also now during all the year anyway. I think it's not bad to keep the technique and for practice. The only problem is a little more dangerous than natural trial, and it's don't fall and don't break something.
Do you practice quite a bit?
Me, I'm not practicing. I never practice a lot because I don't want to be full of riding. For me, it's very important to practice, perhaps just a little, but a good practicing, not only practice to say I have practiced in 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Maybe perhaps I practice only 1 hour, but I think it's a good result of my practice. Not a smart practice, but I think I don't like to practice too much, because after on a Sunday when you have to ride, if you practice too much, for me, for myself, if I practice too much after, I don't want to ride anymore.
How important is your brother Freddie when he helps you? Is it very important to have a good helper rider?
Yes, I think first of all, he's making his job very, very well. Like perhaps only a few followers make the same already. And for me, I think it's very important overall psychologically, because my brother know me like nobody know me, because yes. he's 25 years old, he know me. Yes. He's 25 years, he know me, and he know me better than anybody. And I think he know exactly what he has to do with me, what he has to tell me, he know exactly my reaction. In any case, he knows what he has to do, and this is very important for me. And to have my brother also close of me, like to have my wife, is very important for me, because in trial, like in many sports, the psychology is very important, and to have a strong, not temper, but a good brain is always better.
How about the Fennec? How's that working this year? It's a change from last year's model. This year's is more lighter, and is it working good?
Yes, of course. I'm very happy about my bike. I think it's, if I say it's the best bike, many people don't believe me, because they think and I tell that because I'm employed by Fantic, but I think with the STRA rider we have a very good bike. Anyway, with this bike you can win the stadium, you can win in England, in the mud, in the dry, everywhere.
Do you think Fennec will come out with a water-cooled engine like the Betas and Preyas? Do you feel they need it?
I don't know. This it will be good. You ask to Mr. Agrati or to Dario Sereni, the boss of the race service. It's not me. I will not decide.
How much longer do you plan on riding?
I don't know. This is, of course, a question I asked to myself many times. I don't know the answer, but depend of how many years or how many time I can be in the first in the best riders. I don't know. Normally, now I think I will ride until I will be in the best rider. But depend. I see many riders now riding and never stop because they live of the trail and they can't leave the trail circus. And I don't know, I don't want to tell something because I don't know what will be my future. Depend, if this year I'm world champion, it can change something, and if this year I finish 5th or 6th or 10th, I don't know what happened. And this will change my future for sure. If in 2 or 3 years I will be still in the best rider, I will continue. If in 3 years I will be in the 15th or 20th, I don't know what happened. Depend on my result, first of all.
What do you plan on doing after you retire, when you quit? Stay with Fantic, maybe
no,
develop?
Yes, I like this kind of job. Depend. First of all, you must think that depend of the money, of course. Sure. If Fantic pay me to make another job, and I think it's good job for me, I like to stay in a trial or in a motorcycle jobs or work. Or also work for the French Federation, or I don't know what. But I think I will do that if I have a job.
Do you have any advice for the American riders? The young riders coming up now?
No, I think the most important is necessary, and in USA is a good rider to help to pull all the other riders in. Within the problem for an American rider is necessary to come like he has done Bernie Schreiber, and he has to come in Europe because most of the events are in Europe. The problem is difficult to learn and to know. It's difficult for an American rider if he doesn't look at the best rider at the moment who are European. It's difficult for him alone to be very good. I don't know. It's like in the contrary of the cross in motocross. I think it's good for a European rider to come in USA to learn from US rider. It will be good to come in Europe to learn, and after it's okay.
Okay, well, Terry, good luck tomorrow, and thanks for the interview. Appreciate it.
Okay, you're welcome.
Back in the practice area, the riders have ridden this big slippery rock about every way possible. Notice the loose rocks of all sizes on the ground and the slick, smooth surface of the large ones. This is typical of the terrain around here. There's just not a whole lot of traction, even when dry, so the riders were doing a lot of practicing to try to get used to this type of surface. Also, this is the driest it would be. The sections for Monday would be a lot wetter thanks to the Friday night rain. We asked number 4 ranked Steve Saunders how he felt about his practice.
Well, during the first lot of practice I wasn't too happy with the way I was riding, but today I've had a bit of practice and I'm very pleased. Just done a few modifications around about, and yeah, I'm looking, well, feeling quite good.
How's the new Fanic working now? Do you like the new bike?
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot lighter than the previous bikes, and the suspension's better, and you know, generally the whole bike's a lot better all through, and it makes it a lot easier to do trick riding on it, and big steps, and well, just everything's easier to ride with it.
This is almost like your backyard, these wet, slippery rocks here. Are you comfortable with these type of sections?
Well, I prefer, for me, you know, if it's actually just mud, then it's really good. I mean, for me, then it's not easy, but it's a hell of a lot easier. But with actually slippery rocks, I don't really ride that well on really slippery rocks. So I'm hoping it's going to dry out just a little bit for tomorrow.
Does it require a considerably different technique when you're riding on slippery stuff like this?
Well, I think you have to be very smooth and flowing very well, and I like to correct my line quite a bit. I can't seem to keep my line all the way up the section, so I like to go slower and correct my line.
How do you like the stadium trials events over in Europe? You've ridden a few of them. What are your comments on this?
Yeah, I've ridden quite a few stadium trials, and they're excellent for promoting the sport. But at the moment, I think they're going just a little bit over the top with the sections. Not how difficult they are, but the height, and they're pretty dangerous now. And I think they should concentrate more on being more difficult, but not quite so dangerous.
Do you feel that maybe the indoor events are becoming more popular in Europe now?
Well, certainly for the television, it's very easy for them to set up 4 or 5 cameras in there, and you've got everything. Whereas you go to a normal trial, and to cover a trial properly, you've got to have a hell of a lot of cameras and a hell of a lot of people, you know, carrying those cameras around to get all the top riders and all the sections, if that's what you wanted to do. And in a stadium trial, you're only out there, you only ride for 15 minutes, maximum, and that's good again for television. It's on, it's quick, and it's a lot of action whilst you're out there.
How do you mentally psych yourself up for a world round event?
Well, you don't really need to psych yourself up too much, because everything that's there at the end of it is what psychs you up. I mean, if you want to be world champion, which everybody who's come from Europe to here wants to be world champion, and that's the goal that we're all going at. So if you don't ride well, you're not going to get that goal.
You're, I believe, second in points right now, in second place.
Yeah.
How do you feel your riding is going this year so far? Maybe the new Fanic is helping you. Do you look for maybe a real good year this year?
Well, you obviously hope for a good year every year, but this year I don't feel that I've ridden particularly brilliant at any time during the year, just consistent. To win the Scottish a couple of weeks ago, I didn't ride particularly brilliant. I was just very consistent, and I feel now that I could be coming onto form a little bit, and hope I am to come and just ride that a little bit better, which will give you the edge.
You won the Scottish 6-day last month. How was that event this year?
Well, it was a fairly poor event really for what the Scottish normally is. The first day was complete and utter shambles. They were unfortunate, I suppose, with the weather, because they had to lengthen the course by 5 miles on the first day, which meant that virtually everybody ran out of petrol. And they were all pushing their bikes across the moors, and the time was too tight. And then when everybody had finished, nobody knew whether the time was to stay or the time was out. Every day it seemed to change, or even sometimes twice a day it would change, and they just didn't really know what they were doing organisation-wise, unfortunately. But after the first day it was not so bad then.
Do you have any advice for the U.S. riders, some of the young riders coming up now in the U.S.?
Well, I think that the hardest thing for them is the fact that they're in the US so far from Europe to see what's going on. Any country that doesn't know what's going on outside of their country, if you like, then it's very difficult for anybody to progress. But I suppose with videos and watching the videos and just generally practicing, and the few riders that come over for the TDN at the end of the year, then they're obviously, I suppose, the best riders that are in America. So at least the best riders get a chance, even if it's only once a year, to see what's going on.
Well, good luck to you tomorrow, Steve.
Thanks.
Appreciate the interview.
You're welcome.
Let's take a look at the new era technology, or the water-cooled bikes, as Jordy and Dagobozis on the Aprilia do a bit of practicing. Monday morning starts out with greetings from Steve Saunders and lots of sun as 35 riders sign up to start the event. A time limit of 7 hours was set, and the riders were to ride 18 sections along a 7-mile loop 3 times. 5 riders did not finish the event due to mechanical or other problems. To help keep you informed about the section the riders are riding, a section information page is shown just before each section to let you know how many points were taken by the riders. This information is based on only the riders who finished the event. Also given is information on the riders and how they scored in the section on their other 2 rides. Announcer Paul Crowder is about to introduce the riders, but first a look at the weirdest and hardest to ride machine down here this weekend. Mick Hutchison from Omaha on his homemade motorized trials unibike.
Rider number 24 for today, number 2 national rider Johnny Anderson. Number 1 rider in the United States, Brian Young. Number 27 on his left, also from the United States, Ron Como. 32, I should know these guys, but I don't. Steve Clark from the United States. Lee Berlatier on the other side of Johnny Anderson there from France, number 8. And to his right, rider number 7, Terry Gerard from France. Have I missed anybody? Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you today's competitors, the best trials riders in the world. Give them a hand. We'd like to have just a moment here for an invocation.
A few last-minute preparations, and the riders are ready to start this event, which was to take almost all of the 7 hours allowed them. Remember, in world-round competition, there is no grace period. If you are not in by the end of your 7 hours, you are disqualified, and that could mean losing a lot of points and places in the final standings at the end of the year. We asked Steve Clark, one of the top riders in the Midwest, why he was riding this event.
I just hope to finish and learn something.
Number 9 on deck, number 3, Donato Emilio from Italy.
Let's take a look at the section information page, which is shown just before each new section is to be ridden. It shows a number of cleans, 1s, 2s, 3s, and 5s taken by all riders in the section. The average points lost per rider shows how difficult the section is, and it is also ranked from 1 to 18, or easiest to hardest, as to how it compared to the other sections in this event. Richard Rose from Canada is the first rider we caught in this section. He DNF'd the event. This is a rather long section, about 100 yards. We show a few riders here at the start, then go up toward the middle of the section where it was a bit more difficult. About midway through this section, there was this big rock to go up, probably about 6 feet tall, very slightly inclined. A lot of the less talented riders took 5s on this big rock. Top U.S. rider Brian Young doesn't have any problem with it. He gets right up it on his water-cooled Aprilia. And the last part of the section, a small double edge to the exit. Jordi Terrace running next, the #1 rider from Spain. Switch to our second camera here to pick up the rest of the section now. Pascal Couturier riding next. He's the #4 ranked rider in France. He's ranked #12 in the world. There's a good view of the start of the section now as 22-year-old Donato Miglio enters the section. Donato's currently the #1 rider from Italy, having beat out Diego Bozas last year for these honors. And here's the current world champion riding now, Thierry Michaud from France. Thierry and Eddie Lejeune from Belgium are the only 3-time world champs. Thierry winning the world championship in 1985, 1986, and of course 1988. And Eddie Lejeune in 1982, 83, and 84. Nice ride with the clean. And here's the other former 3-time world champion, Eddie Lejeune, riding. Eddie won all his championships on the 4-stroke Honda, which was the most advanced machine during those 3 years of 82, 83, and 84. Last year, Eddie rode a Merlin. They're currently out of business, being bought by the Gas factory. And this year he's on the new Montesa, and he's riding it very well. Eddie's 28 years old, which makes him the oldest rider in the top 10. "24-year-old Steve Saunders from England is riding next. Steve makes a real good move right there to get across those very slick and off-camber rocks. Steve's been the English champ since 1983, and he's always placed in the top 5 in World Trials competition. This year, Steve won the Scottish 6 Days, held in Scotland the first part of May. Most of the top riders didn't have any problem with this section. Diego Bozas had a clean in 2 1s. Tommy Avila with 3 cleans. Thierry Girard a 1 and 2 cleans. Renato Gilberto a clean and 2 1s. Amos Bilbao from Spain with 2 cleans and a 1. And Philippe Berladier with a 1 and 2 cleans. Section 2 is just a bit more difficult for the less experienced riders. Take another look at 18-year-old Stephen Coley from England as he prepares to go up this double edge. The #1 USA rider, Ryan Young, now in the section. He entered the section just off to the right over a few big rocks and then dropped down into this part of the section. Where Ryan's at right now, you have to make kind of a trick turn, back the bike up against the tape there in the little B, and then gas it to get over these next two very slick ledges. And from here on, picking up our second camera, up this double edge, which Ryan does very nicely. And one more big inclined rock to go over, and then to the exit. A lot of riders took 1 or 2 points going up that big, slippery, inclined rock that's just ahead of Ryan right now. Took a lot of RPM, good bit of clutch work to get over it without spinning. A lot of riders did that. Ryan's out with a 3. We'll catch the last part of #5 USA rider Ron Como's ride here. Ron's 22 years old. And lots of good throttle and clutch work there from Ron, as he's one of the few riders to clean the exit of this section. Former 1987 world champ Jordi Terrace from Spain on his new water-cooled Beta now riding. Jordi's been the Spanish champion since 1986. He's 22 years old. He lives just to the northeast of Barcelona, Spain, right up in the mountains where there's lots of rocks. Jordi's running this new water-cooled Beta extremely well. Nice ride with a 1. Watch Donato's gear shifting here. Second, third. Third gear with a lot of clutch to go up this ledge. Terry Michaud's wife just off to the left of the screen there in the white. Excellent ride from Donato as he gets the first clean on this section. Bernie Schreiber was here, America's 1979 World Trials champ. He was doing a commentary with Moto World, which will be seen on TV at some point in the future. Thierry Michaud from southern France. Shows real nice technique up that double ledge. These top riders can make this look so easy. Another real nice ride with a clean. 25-year-old Luis Galac from Spain now riding. Luis was the Spanish champion in 1984 and 1985. And then Jordi Terrace came on the scene in 1986, and he's won ever since then. The Mecha Techno that he's riding is made in Spain and doesn't change too much from year to year. Although, as you can see, this year they added the upside-down front forks. And they have plans in the mill for a brand new design to be out a little later on this year. Italy's number 2 rider, 21-year-old Diego Bozes from northeastern Italy, riding next on the water-cooled Aprilia. Tommy Avila cleaned this section this first time, and then had 2 2s on it. Steve Saunders with 3 cleans. Thierry Girard a 5 and 2 cleans. Renato Chiaberto a 2 a clean and a 1. Good technique on that ledge. Amos Bilbao a 2 a 5 and a 1. Philippe Berladier clean 1 and a 5. Eddie Lejeune a clean and 2 5s. Pascal Couturier a 1 a 5 and a 3. And Peter John a 1 5 and a 1. Michaud, Saunders, and Bozes were the only 3 riders to clean this section each time they rode it. A lot of 5s were taken right at this point. The rider's front wheel would get hung up and they go high side right over the bars down against that tree. Once past here, this was kind of a sneaky snake section to get up to the top of this little hill right behind Renato now. A lot of trick turns here. This turned out to be pretty slick right here. A lot of points were taken on this little slight uphill. And this was another point grabber. This right turn up through these trees over the slick rocks. Back down the hill, kind of a trick turn to the left, or that fallen incline log, then up to the exit. Fairly difficult section. Nice ride with the 3. There were quite a few spectators around these first few sections, but compared to the crowds that get in Europe, this is just a handful of people. Here's a demonstration of the skill it takes to be a top rider. Watch where Terry stops his rear wheel right on the top of that rock after that high-speed run up the hill. That's really tough to do. Then make a left turn and come back down the hill. Very difficult. Terry's one of the smoothest riders and probably one of the best with a clutch and being able to get traction with that rear wheel that I think I've seen in a long time. Nice trick turn. Excellent ride with the clean. Amos kind of turns his bike in the air as he comes over that rock. Just a little bit different technique. Only 7 riders clean this section. Jordy had 2 of the cleans on his second and third loop. He had a 1 in his first loop. Tommy Avila, 2-1 and a 3. Steve Saunders, 2-3 and a clean. Terry Gerard, a 2-3-3. Berlatier, 1-3-2. Couturier, 1-5 and a 3. Peter John, a 2 and 2 5s. Gabino Renales, a 3-1 and a 5. And Ryan Young, and he's out with a 1. Nice ride over the log. Brian Young and Johnny Anderson, the number 1 and the number 2 U.S. riders, each had 3 3s. And Andrew Codina kind of let the bike get away from him there, and they scored him a 5 right at that point for stopping. One of the top riders in the Midwest, Steve Clark from Omaha, scored a 5. Eddie Lejeune was the other rider who had 2 cleans in this section. It's his first ride. He's going to kind of get away from him. Kind of a scary get-off. This was a spectacular section, entered by this tree over these two rocks. Pretty much dropped straight off on the other side of these. And down the section a bit. A left turn around the tree you see Diego at now. And they're going to climb back up this rock pile right off to the left of the picture. There's one real hard part right there in front of Diego when he turns and starts coming back up. There's a pretty good sized ledge there that's very slippery. A lot of fives were taken at that point. Right there. And riding right along the edge of this ledge is about 12 feet up from the ground, and then about 2 bike lengths up another ledge to the exit. Here's where you had to know how to trick turn and be able to back the bike up to get a run at this ledge. We're down at the far end of the section now to give you a look at this ledge that's taken a lot of fives. Mark Manico just made it up. And good ride from Mark. He's out with a 2. Jordy Terrace now coming down to the left turn point of the section. Jordy's probably one of the best trick riders in trials today. He specializes mainly in indoor stadium trials events. It's his favorite type of riding. And right there is a ledge that most of the riders were having problems on. Good ride from Jordy with the clean. Steve Saunders now over the entrance rocks. Nice ride over that ledge that most of the other riders had problems with. There's really 3 ways to make this trick turn. Front wheel bounce, rear wheel bounce, or like Steve did, just bounce the whole bike, and he's out with a clean. Steve and Jordy were the only 2 riders who cleaned this section, all 3 rides. Terry Michaud had a clean, a 1, and a clean. Tommy Avila, a 2 and 2 cleans. Donato Miglia with a 1, 2 cleans. Terry Gerard, 1, 1, and a clean. Renato Chiaberto, 3 clean and a 3. Amos Bilbao, 3, 2, and a clean. Philippe Berlatier, 1 clean and a 1. Pascal Couturier with 3 1s. And Peter John from Finland with a 2, a 1, and a 3. Good ride from Eddie with a 1. That ledge stopped a lot of riders on the second and third laps. Brian Young had 3 3s, Johnny Anderson 3 5s, and Ron Como had a 3 and 2 5s. Not quite enough speed from Dave, and he's going to be scored a 5.